I'm going to side on the management of the Chicago Bulls because, as far as I'm concerned, they have gone above and beyond to try to placate Derrick Rose. And they clearly understand this organization is not going to go anywhere if he's not on the basketball court, if he's not fully healthy mentally and physically to be on the basketball court.
Right.
But I just found it very interesting that Derrick Rose would pick the time away from the Chicago Bulls organization to talk about tension that, even though he didn't see it, that he was aware of. Well, where is that tension coming from? Who is speaking on this? Is it your agent? Is it your brother Reggie, your manager? Wherever it came from, he felt compelled enough to say, you know what? I know that people in this organization.
He acknowledged.
Yeah, he did acknowledge that.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, if I'm Jerry Reinsdorf, I'm like, okay, if you felt that way, why would you wait to say this in a public forum like this, and you didn't talk to me or Gar Forman or Jim Paxson, anybody in the Chicago Bulls organization?
That's true.
So, but if it led to Jerry Reinsdorf getting in touch with his inner Shakespeare to speak on this, you know what? Maybe we need to hear from Jerry Reinsdorf more often.
He's a smart man.
He is a wordsmith par excellence. Good work out of him. I'm going to side.
He might have had some help with that statement.
You don't think he came with that?
No, he's capable. He's fully capable.
I don't care what kind of help, what kind of script writer he had. Pay that man top dollar, that woman top dollar for that. But I'm going to side the Bulls management here, Skip and Carrie, because why would you wait to have this in a forum like this? If this bothered you, why did you not speak to anybody in the Bulls organization directly? And now Reinsdorf has to respond to something in which he probably didn't even know this happened or was aware of it. And according to him, he was completely blindsided by what Derrick Rose had to say.
I'm on the organization side.
Okay.
Yet Jerry Reinsdorf obviously owns the organization. And I do know something of what I speak because for a while I was a columnist of the Chicago Tribune. And Jerry's hot button got hit here by the Chicago Sun-Times. He hit a deep red hot button in him, which prompted that explosion that we saw in the statement, because they are back on the cusp of being back in business, because it looks like Derrick is pretty healthy, although he did say after one workout, my one knee was a little sore, which concerned me a little bit, but still, we're hearing all kinds of reports about how explosive he is. So finally, it looks like the Chicago Bulls are on the verge of hope springing eternal again, because you've got the player, you have a former MVP who's played a total of 49 games over the last 3 seasons. But in the Eastern Conference, again, if he's as explosive as he looks with Team USA right now, they got a great shot, man, right? Even though they didn't land, or apparently they're not going to land Kevin Love, but they got a good basketball team, especially if that guy is that guy again. So the organization was correct in having internal misgivings about how they were portrayed by some members of the brother and other insiders with Derrick. Not specifically from Derrick, except that Derrick would not help them recruit.
Right.
And I'm sure that rubbed them all the wrong way. And we had the Carmelo visit, and we were led to believe that Derrick just said, I'm out. You know, I'm not going to help recruit him, and I don't really need to talk to him when he's here. But Carmelo just happened to walk into the United Center while Derrick was conducting one of his daily sort of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. workouts, and it was like, hey, man, what's up? You know, and so Derrick came over and shook hands, and they talked. All well and good. But Derrick was not going to go out of his way to go out to dinner with Carmelo the way everybody else in every other city seemed to be going out with. You know, all the senior leaders at all the other places needed to go recruit whomever it was, the big free agent of choice. So in this case, I'm on the organization side. I don't like the way Jerry fired back, Jerry Reinsdorf, but clearly he's just trying to protect the organization because he's trying to clear air that hasn't been cleared for a long time. And listen, how many Bulls fans have been upset to the point of being irate that it sure sounded like Derrick could play? He sounds like he's good to go, but he won't go. Hey, we could use him in the playoffs, but he won't go. What's wrong, Derrick? You're making just unbelievable amounts of money. You're making max money to do what for us? Nothing. Well, where are you? What's the problem? Why is this dragging on for so long? So I'm sure Bulls fans have some, they're conflicted a little bit here, although their hope is springing again because it should. I think they could be really good next year if he can stay healthy. Now, at this point, I think we have to ask, can he stay healthy? But that's a whole other issue.
Right. Here's the deal with the whole situation with Derrick Rose and his injury. And I'll stand on this. If you feel you're not ready and you have so much to lose and so much to gain, one way or the other. If you feel you're not ready mentally to be out there, you know what? I'm okay with he didn't want to go out there. I know if I'm a Bulls fan, I'm thinking, dude, really? Come on now. You look pretty healthy to me, but we're not in the mind and body of Derrick Rose. So if he felt he didn't want to be out there, that's fine. You made that decision. You got to live with it. But the Bulls management stood by him. They may have had misgivings about it, but pretty much privately, that was kept in-house. They basically said, you know, we feel you can play, but if you're not ready, you're not doing yourself any favors, you're not doing us any favors. So for him to address that, something that he became aware of, but didn't see it, I know if I'm Jerry Reinsdorf, if I'm Gar Forman, if I'm John Paxson, I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Wait a minute. When you needed our support, we were there for you. We made sure that we tried to deflect all criticisms because we want you here and we know we can't win without you. And Skip, to your point, now you got a Pau Gasol on this basketball team who's going to show him, hey, Derrick, this is how we did with the Los Angeles Lakers. He's going to feed off of that information. He still is one of the best coaches in the NBA, and Tom Thibodeau.
I agree.
So why would you bring tension that had nothing to do with those guys, nothing to do with this organization? So now they got to deal with that distraction because you were aware of something, but you didn't see it if you were Derrick Rose.
So Jerry Reinsdorf's statement, this is totally without basis or fact. That sentence is totally without basis or fact. Am I right?
That's not accurate.
That's very fair because he's going based on something that Derrick Rose heard. And so he's going to make sure he's going to, like you said, Skip, he's going to protect this organization. He's going to circle the wagon and say, you know what, that's not how we do things.
So